Hi, this is Vali Anderson. Today is Wednesday, January 5th. Welcome to the Morning News Bite with Dr. Shreya Khanna. Dr. Khanna is a servant of the underserved and an advocate for the Post-Incarceration Juvenile Justice Reformation Act. He launched the Returning Youth Initiative to restore the lives of post-incarcerated young adults, giving them the opportunity to be reintegrated back into society. In this morning news bite, we try to highlight the extraordinary accomplishments of young adults around the nation to give inspiration to others and enhance their talents. Today, we are excited to have Shreya Arukil from Lenape High School from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Hello, how are you both doing today?
Good morning, Valley, and good morning, Shreya, for joining us. And thank you very much, Valley, for having our wonderful guest, who also is a young adult from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. How are you, Shreya?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We are doing good. And since we are meeting first time in this year, so wish you a happy new year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
Could you highlight a little bit about you, that you as a young adult, how you are experiencing your life and how you are contributing to the society, which can make you a little bit extraordinary?
I think that what I believe in the most is compassion and empathy. And I've tried really hard, kind of my whole life, but especially in my teen years, to integrate these values into, day-to-day occurrences, in how I treat people around me and um, in how I greet people. And I think that this is just a huge part of who I am, which is why I started a student-led initiative that aims to empower through storytelling, because there doesn't exist a more empathetic lens than storytelling. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Wow. Valerie, do you understand the storytelling? Maybe I should call her every night before I go to bed to hear the storytellings to keep me having a good night's sleep, at least.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to learn more about the initiative you're leading.
So how do you said you are empowering. This is the word, Valley, I would like to emphasize today in this morning show is empowering somebody. Whether it is a young adult or adults, doesn't matter, but you are empowering with this initiative of storytelling. How does that work? I mean, what type of story do you tell that could empower somebody?
I think the reason why stories are so powerful is I think it was, the most primitive form of togetherness. They would back in like millennia ago, humans would sit around a fire and they would tell stories to each other, and that's the way that they would connect. So I think empathy before anything else is about connection. And I think that that's why storytelling is the purest form of finding empathy, because you take very complex issues like patriarchy, racism, recidivism, and you personalize it, and you simplify it so they can understand it and they can see it before them. And you can do that really well and really efficiently through stories.
Wow. Valley, any comments on this?
That is really what inspired you to lead this in your school.
I think the thing is that I have always been a feminist. My family has always believed in feminism, and I've always believed in the power of the woman just as much as I believe in the power of anyone else. So I think that, but the problem that I saw, especially coming into my teen years with feminism, was that sometimes people perceived it as like all women hate men kind of thing. And it was a very black and white, like oh, it's women over men kind of deal, kind of situation. But that's kind of, I think feminism, having understood the heart of feminism, because I am a feminist, I kind of understand that it's a lot more multifaceted and nuanced than that. And I really wanted to bring that side of it to the table. And I think I can do that by achieving empathy through storytelling.
Wow, this is, so you're trying to bring something that millennium after millennium years they have been struggling between what you just brought about feminism, like woman has less power or man has more power, this kind of thing, and you are trying to bring it up and saying that, hey, that's not what the real power is. The real power is empowering somebody to do something good in the society or to yourself, and that's by achieving through storytelling. Wow, that reminds me my old days in the early high schools where we used to read medieval stories, world history, and yes, you are right. People used to sit around the fires and talk about different stories. This is so wonderful. But Shreya, you will not believe that how different young adults, whether they are girls or boys in this country, at the young age, even at the earliest age of 12 or 13, they are exhibiting their talents to different things. And today I'm highlighting a girl, a young girl, or maybe I don't know whether it's a girl or boy. Oh no,
He-
he's a boy. Archer. Archer, sorry. Archer Calder, 17 years old from Texas, who was born, sorry, Archer spent his childhood unable to talk with his younger sister, Della. Della, who is 14 right now, and Archer being 17, they don't have a communication. Why? Well, Della was born with Bain-Breeds-Roper syndrome. Never heard of it, but is a rare genetic condition which affects her ability to eat, move, and speak. Could you imagine, Shreya and Valley, you have a sibling, you've been hankering for the sibling for a long time, and you have a sibling, your parents gave you that wonderful gift, who is like 3, 4, or 5 years younger to you, and you cannot have a communication with that sibling you love to death. How do you feel? Broken heart, right? But Della, at the age of 14, grew up using a combination of hand signals and short sound to communicate with her family and caregivers. In her early teens, she was introduced to augmentative and alternative communication applications, programs designed to help people who have trouble with speech, language, but her family was disappointed with the result. Guess what? Della refused to use the first application they tried, then broke the second device they brought her. Well, Archer, being the bigger elder brother, felt it was unfair the ability to communicate, something he believed was fundamental to being human, was causing families like his to make financial sacrifices. So Archer began using his coding abilities to develop a web-based application called Free Speech. Valley, I just can't stop here appreciating this older brother of Della. What do you think, Valley? I want you to
No
continue.
kidding. Could you imagine how proud his parents are feeling right now, or when this actually came about? Like, just the fulfillment of being able to communicate with your daughter now, or your younger sister. Like, I couldn't imagine not being able to talk to mine, but being able to now do it, that, like, I'm sure it's that much more fulfilling.
Well, besides that fulfilling, And Shreya, I want you to just understand this 17-year-old could develop a coding, web-based coding, so that he can communicate with his sister. That is amazing. That talent which he had at the age of 17, even a software programmer at the age of 40, 50 cannot come up with this kind of coding to develop something web-based. But a 17-year-old, almost the same age of, I think, a high school, junior or senior. You have anything to add here, Shreya, with the boy's talent?
I think that's incredible. And I think that, I mean, it's classic, like where there's a will, there's a way. Like, I feel like it came from a place of such good intention that he really did want to be able to communicate with his sister. And that's so heart touching, as well as just being very impressive, skill wise, because he had obviously had to have a lot of skill to build something like that.
It kept on continuing with, we can keep on talking about this, but since we don't have much time on this, I just want everybody to kind of understand, like Shreya said, Valley said, the intention of a young adult to communicate, to develop something, to communicate. The National Hospital in Washington, D.C., the Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C., they were astounded by hearing this tool, communication tool. They want to engage that and implement that in their medical field as well. So this is what the Sunrise is all about. This is what Returning Youth Initiative is all about. We want to empower all young adults, that the talents those young adults have in them can be brought back, can be highlighted. Just like, I think, Shreya, you talking about storytelling, this would be a nice story for you to tell to a lot of young adults, that how this young boy, Archer, could communicate with Della. And when everybody failed, he didn't give up. He started his own way. He developed his own program and started bringing this. I'm really thrilled. I really want to thank Archer and his family and everybody who helped him for achieving this success. So Valley, I think we should reach out to Archer and see if we can work with him and bring him to the part of this initiative, so that the other young adults can be motivated and inspired. And I also would like to thank Shreya for exhibiting her ability. So we have now today, we highlighted two individuals and young individuals in their teens, that if they have a will, they can empower everybody else. Thank you very much, Valley, and thank you very much, Shreya.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna and Shreya, for joining me today. For those who wish to know more about the initiative, please visit the website returningyouth.com. We bring Sunrise to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have two new podcasts, 15-minute weekly news and the Bridge to Faith program, that you can watch on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Returning Youth or Khanna for Youth. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you on Friday. God bless.